Hi, I'm Ari Lynette. Here are some reasons why I don't like certain people. So, before I start the video, we need to address the elephant in the room. I cut my hair, and it's very therapeutic. So today's video is inspired by two videos I've done in the past few months. One of those is my video essay on beauty channel Breakups, and then the other one is my indie makeup pet peeves. So I got the idea, not too long ago, of actually combining those two concepts and talking about my pet peeves with YouTubers, if we're using that term. I remember I used to hate that term, YouTubers, but I think it's growing on me a little bit, like a fungus. But basically this video is about my pet peeves with beauty YouTubers or BeauTubers that make me unsubscribe. So it's kind of marrying those two concepts into something fun and interesting and a little bit petty. But also I feel like this video is a lot more valid and the reasons I have are a lot less petty and a lot more emotionally driven. So some quick disclaimers. So first of all, I want to give the same disclaimer that I did on the last pet peeves video. This isn't intended to be offensive or insulting, especially as we're talking about people here. I also don't want this video to come across as a lecture or I'm telling anyone what to do or how to act. This is purely personal reasons to why I unsubscribe from channels. And while these reasons might be rooted in social justice, the actual reasons for me unsubscribing are pretty much purely emotional. It's never because X equals bad. It's because X equals emotional response that really shakes me up and ruins my mood and makes me want to question why I'm watching this channel. You know, simple things. So let's get onto those reasons and hopefully you'll enjoy this slightly less petty dive into pet peeves and also a dive into why I unsubscribe from makeup channels. So if you want to see all of that and well, it's really just that, then don't go anywhere. First of all, let's get the obvious out of the way. Racism, homophobia, transphobia, being a Trump supporter, xenophobia, and pro-life feminism, which isn't actually feminism. Basically just a lot of big political things. I know that isn't relevant to everyone, and I don't necessarily think you have to be politically aligned with a makeup channel to enjoy their content. I think that people are allowed to disagree on political opinions and still engage with their content. However, this is a very personal thing for me. I am both gay and on the autistic spectrum, and for me, if I'm watching a channel where I know that they're racist or xenophobic or they support certain serious, terrifying political issues, it's always going to have that uncomfortable edge for me. It just is. And I'm never going to project that onto anyone and be like, well, I don't, so you shouldn't. Because everyone responds to things differently, but it's my prerogative to support who I want and boycott who I want. If someone is saying horrible things about immigrants or invalidating the lives of trans and non-binary people, yeah, I'm not going to support them. And it really matters to me whether it's regarding a more political subject or whether it's someone who does a makeup channel, because it just matters to me. The second reason is something you'll be very familiar with if you happen to stumble across me on Reddit, because I complain about this quite a lot, and that is holier than thou. Now, I understand I'm not the most talented makeup person in my house even. Like, this is fine, this isn't amazing. So I always appreciate technical advice and helping to improve my craft, seeing things in a different way. I like that stuff. I like opening my mind and seeing those different opportunities. But when it comes to like an opinion and it's like someone thinks they know better and they are going to lecture you on it because it's my job, you know, to tell you why your feelings are invalid, basically. Yeah, I don't really enjoy that. I watch beauty channels for kind of a sense of camaraderie, a sense that we both enjoy makeup. We enjoy playing around with it, we enjoy creating things, we enjoy exploring different interests and hobbies, collabing, and all of that fun. I really enjoy that side of it. So to kind of watch something and feel like I'm being told that my opinion is inferior and that I'm kind of inferior, being like, neutrals are all boring, or like, it's just makeup, why are you talking about these things? There's a difference between expressing an opinion and sounding like you're better than everyone. There is a fine line, it is pretty subjective, and I don't think that that's a pass-fail model. I think it's a lot more complex than that, but when I get a gut feeling that I feel like I'm basically being lectured about why my opinion is wrong and why my opinion on an eyeshadow palette specifically, if someone wants to express why my opinion on certain more serious political issues is wrong, I might listen, fair enough. I'm not perfect in that regard. But if I look at a palette and I really like it, and oh, it looks really cute, and then someone comes on like, this is boring! Who asked for this release? Sorry, I'm going really close to the camera, but it really is annoying to me. It kind of just come across as like, I think my opinion is the right way or the highway. And it's like, that's kind of a little bit narrow-minded, and I don't find that very enjoyable. So on an enjoyment front, I usually end up checking out eventually. But again, matter of opinion, subjective. It really is a case-by-case thing, and I don't judge people on that. I'm certainly not going to dive into your comment section and be like, actually, you're being really judgmental about that, because at the end of the day, it is incredibly subjective, mostly because I'm not really a fan of that kind of confrontation. I'm the kind of person who just watches silently and then makes their exit, and then talks about it later, usually on Reddit. So holier than thou, yeah, I'm not a fan of that. The third thing I want to talk about is really crucial to my enjoyment of a channel, and I feel like this is something that is very specific to me, specific to what I believe and how I get along with people, and that is humor. I wholeheartedly believe that someone's sense of humor says a lot about them, and I mean, the shows I like and the comedy I enjoy probably says a lot about me, and I just believe that that's something that's very reflective of a person's character. So someone's sense of humor is really important into whether I feel comfortable watching their content. So if someone is particularly mean-spirited and uses certain phrases and words, it genuinely makes me uncomfortable when I'm watching something that should be really like a de-stressor. Like when I watch makeup videos, it's usually because I want some enjoyment and some fun, and I don't want to hear certain phrases and expressions that have quite nasty roots and connotations. Like there's this one YouTuber I really love, and I love all of their content, and they just are so funny and make so many good videos. And they'd be perfect if they didn't make a trigger joke every couple of videos, because those are just like the ultimate mood killer for me. You're going through a video and it's like, oh, this is fun, and then it's like, boom, and it's like, oh, that's unfortunate. Again, it's not always a pass-fail kind of system. It's a lot more about watching people's habits and seeing if the good outweighs the negative. Though there are certain cases where I don't do that and I'm just like a bit of a pass-fail system. Like, if you throw around the R word, get out. I don't want to sound mean or dismissive, but if you are throwing around the R word, I want nothing to do with you, and leave and get out and don't talk to me again. Because I just think that being, again, gay and on the autistic spectrum, these kinds of things really matter to me, and it's incredibly important on an emotional level. And when I'm saying this, I'm not saying this from a social justice standpoint. Though yes, that's a compelling argument. I'm saying it on a level of genuine discomfort. I'm saying it as in, I'm watching something, I'm enjoying myself, and then something pops up and I'm not the same for the rest of the video. Y'all can call me sensitive, you can call me wah, snowflake, whatever, but it genuinely makes an impact, and I'm not going to dismiss that. So yeah, someone's sense of humor really matters to me, and I will pay attention. I'm the type of person that really watches out for that kind of stuff, because you never really know what it can indicate. Words have impact and deeper meaning, whether you want them to have that or not. It's still going to have that impact regardless, so I think that it's incredibly important, especially in terms of how you use humor, if you punch down. It just reflects a lot about what it says about you, and that can have applications within a makeup channel, and it does, because I've seen examples of it. So that is just paramount for me. But again, you might not see that as something so important, but it really just depends on what affects you, and that's completely fine. Right, so that was definitely more of an emotional reason, something more emotionally charged, but this next one is a lot more logically charged and a lot more based on trust and based on whether I can rely on someone, and that is a clear bias. Now, I watched this video, I believe it was Alex the Alchemist who talked about bias, and she had this amazing video about it, and if I can find it, I'll link in the description because it's just an excellent resource. I just think it's really useful in terms of thinking about how bias affects people, what it means, is it good, is it bad, what kind of subconscious levels there are to it. I think it's just a great video. So I might have inherent biases. Everyone on YouTube might have like little biases here and there, and that's fine, and it's natural, it's human. But there are times when biases can become increasingly obvious, and it can affect the quality and objectivity of a video. The specific example I'm going to use is Will I Buy It videos. This is a popular format that's come up, and I used to really enjoy those, and now I don't really enjoy those very much. Not because of any serious reason, but just because I don't really find them that fun anymore. But if someone's complaining about a product and calling it boring or unneeded or pointless, it's interesting to see them look at a very similar product and say something completely different about it and say, oh, it's nice, oh, that's going to be helpful, or it fills a hole in a lineup or something that is kind of justifying not giving it a similar criticism to the other product. When I hear those excuses, I naturally gravitate towards looking in the description box, and usually it checks out my suspicions. If someone is making excuses for a subpar or less than likable release for a brand they're affiliated with, I see straight through it. I'm not one of these people that gives people passes for that and is just like, oh, I get it, they're kind of friendly with each other and that's okay and it's good that they have this camaraderie. No, if you're doing a will I buy it video and you're doing something where it's critiquing new makeup releases, giving free passes to brands you like is almost kind of cheating the formula a little bit. Often smaller channels think they can get away with this because it involves indie brands, and being a smaller channel themselves, you're more likely to sympathize with them and give more excuses. But for me, I see straight through it because it's a very similar formula to Morphe shilling. I mean, that's the big example. Like, bigger influencers shilling out Morphe products and saying they're amazing and so pigmented and creamy and buttery, blah blah blah, and then having the code. It's a very similar formula with smaller influencers, and I'm not naming any brands, I'm not going to be too specific. Let's think of it like maybe like make up a brand name that could possibly have a lot of affiliate codes to make them more favourable to smaller channels and influencers. Let's call it Blush Tribe, maybe? Yeah, that's a good name. Let's call it that. Like, it's a very similar practice to Morphe shilling. It's posing a product that is questionable in quality and or credibility and promoting the hell out of it and being as positive as possible and offering an affiliate code to people that will probably end up believing you. I find that to be concerning. I'm not going to say problematic because that word is hideously overused, but it makes me concerned because it's like, are these people being swindled out of their money for something that isn't really as good as something that is judged impartially? And I feel like if you have a problem with Morphe shilling and that whole world, I think it's unfair to dismiss some of the smaller cases just because pretty colours. I think it's important to look at those in very similar lights and really consider that it can have an effect on a big scale but also on a small scale. So if I see you being a very obvious shill and making excuses for brands just because you're on their payroll, I don't vibe with that. And the last reason, which I would say is one of the most important, but probably this and the humour thing are the most important things for me, and that is an increasing bitterness. Now, I understand that it can be hard being a YouTuber, especially a bigger one. You get tired of certain complaints and certain comments and certain things that really grind your gears. I get that. But if you come across as increasingly bitter about certain things, it isn't a very good reflection of character. If you are continuously bitter on the channel, it shows. If you complain about nobody watching your videos, it makes you look incredibly ungrateful for what you were already getting. Like when people tweet, oh, y'all let this flop. Like, no, they didn't let it flop. They just didn't want to watch it because they have the right to choose what to watch. I'm sorry that your video about trying a weird eyeliner didn't get as many views because some people just don't want to watch that stuff. If you complain about certain points of criticism that have legitimacy, like if you're complaining like, oh, I like this product but I can't use it because then everyone's going to call me bougie and say I only use rich things, or like I can't use this palette because everyone's going to say I'm a shill. Like, this just makes you sound like you can't take criticism at all. Like, there are certain things where if you get a certain piece of criticism and you know it's not true, stick with your belief. Like, you don't have to make a big statement about it. Like, I've had, over the past few days, quite a few heated comments on my House Labs video about how I'm ugly and untalented and my rant was pointless. But first of all, I'm not ugly. And also, my makeup look in that video wasn't that good anyway, so I get that. But also, I know I had a valid point. I know that I had the right intention and I know how I intended it to come across, and I don't have any regrets about that, so why would I go on complaining about that constantly? Because it's like, it's not something that really affects me and makes me feel like, oh, maybe I am doing that wrong. Because I do get that sometimes. I think, oh, maybe I am doing this a little bit wrong. And I try and improve and constantly change and develop to make sure that I'm not making the same mistakes over and over. But if I know in my heart that I was right to do that thing and I'm comfortable with that, I don't really feel a need to complain about it, and I don't see why other people should either. Also, if your only response to a critical comment is like, go fuck yourself, then that says a lot about you and what you can contribute to a conversation. Not the best conversationalist if you can only insult people. And I understand that it's difficult. It's hard getting hate comments. It's hard getting reception that you don't like. It sucks, and YouTubers aren't robots, except for some that are. People can get in their feelings, and people can get genuine emotional impact from it. But often when this comes up, it feels like that anger is projected towards the viewer. At least that's how I felt. I felt like all of that bitterness towards this little pocket of reception is thrown back to the viewer, and it just didn't really make me feel good about watching certain people's videos, knowing that people would go off on a rant about certain comments, or like think that crossing their eyes is a sense of humour because mocking people is so funny. Like, I just don't see that as something I enjoy, something I like to watch. I just find that it makes me want to switch you off and put on someone that seems to really be enjoying what they're doing and makes me happy and makes me enjoy what I'm watching. Because at the end of the day, that's what most people go on makeup channels for, except for trolls, but let's be honest, their opinions don't really matter that much. But the majority of people go onto makeup channels because they want to watch something they enjoy. They want to watch a fun declutter. They want to watch a cool looking tutorial. They might even want to watch a weird beauty tool that they're curious about. They go on for enjoyment and to feel like they're having a good time. And sometimes if you feel like the person behind the camera is increasingly bitter about something, it can make you feel kind of bad just sitting there, like, why am I even watching this? And that's something that's got to me quite a few times, so don't get bitter. Just get better. I feel like that actually applies to this situation. I'm going to see if I've had a hidden surprise mystery sixth reason. No, I don't. That's the video. So if you have any thoughts about these reasons, if you have any additional points that I might not have brought up, if you have any additional things that make you want to unsubscribe from a YouTuber, let me know in the comments below, because I love hearing about what you have to say. And if you want to let me know about anything like the hair, the eye makeup, which is nice enough but probably not the best, that's all cool too, because I'm just thankful that people are there. But thank you for watching this video. I've been Ari Lynette. You have, as always, been amazing. And remember to do something good, and be something good, and say something good. Because after all, nobody goes on YouTube to want to feel bad things. Bye. Thanks for watching. If you like this, give it a thumbs up and come say hi in the comments. You can find me on Twitter at AriLynetteWork and on Instagram at AriLynette. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Love you for watching.